thinking, punk. Question is, can I get Wolverine before he turns me into shish kebab with those claws? Bob, seeing as how these claws are adamantium, the strongest metal known, and can slice through vanadium steel like a hot knife through butter, buddy, you gotta ask yourself, do I feel lucky?
Hello everyone, thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose, I love comic books, I love talking about them, I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the Marvel fan site that'll have plot synopsis and character bios for this issue. So you'll have to forgive me. I am a little rusty because I took a week off because of the election. I just wasn't going to get too many views. Everybody's just focused on the election stuff. So this is the first video I've done in a week. So we're going to be looking at Origin 2 by Kieron Gillen and Adam Kubert. I love these little hairs coming from the nostrils here. This is a great cover by Kubert. So I am covering these the Wolverine Origin. I have a playlist for the first series, and I'll have a playlist then for the second series here. So all right, here we go. This is from 2013 here. Here we got our credits here. Frank Martin is a good colorist, but he is no Richard Isanov. But, all right. So, Logan, the superhero known as Wolverine, was born James Howlett, a seemingly normal child in a wealthy family. But he was also born with amazing powers, including a regenerative healing factor, superhuman senses, and retractable claws in his arms. A child of immense privilege came crumbling down, and a man's cruel ways and savage nature led Logan to leave a world of humans and live in the Canadian wilderness, forgetting his very humanity. Logan befriended a family of wolves in the woods who treated him like kin, but that family was too destroyed when a polar bear made the unusual choice of traveling down into the woods and slaughtered the clan of wolves while Logan was away. In a fit of rage, Logan battled the bear, killing it and leaving its corpse in the woods. Had Logan not given in to his savage nature, he might have noticed the bear was tagged by someone named Essex. So, we all know who Essex is. So, anyway, here we are in Canada, and these dog here, you can see here, just angry here. You shut the hell up. Do you want the stick again, you damn fool hound? People are so cruel. And this woman here says, stop it. You won't calm him. If you treat him like that, the only way the hound is going to quiet down is if you kill him. And so she shows compassion here. Shush you, just shush. He hasn't had a damn bit of kindness in his life. Half run out, treated with all the care of an outhouse stain. And so, that was incredible. You're good with animals, miss. And she goes, so I'm told. So, and oh, you can see here in the eyes here. So, I'm going to make this a little bit larger here. Here we go. So, Adam Kubert loves those double page spreads. So, as you can see here, she is heavily scarred here. So, we don't know who she is here. And so this gentleman here says, Clara, we don't have time for this. We're here on business. And she's like, Hugo, you know me, you know as well as me, animals are the business. So this gentleman here says, speaking of beasts, who walks amongst us? Where's your beau hidden himself? And she says here, too many people, even here. And if you say beau again, I'll cut you, Hugo. And so Hugo says, you're such a spirited pair. But yes, busier than I expected. Rumors must have traveled further than I thought. Well, we better get started, says Hugo. The horse's mouth awaits. And so, here off panel, let me guess, more folks looking into hear my story. And that's this gentleman here. And if you've got money for today's whiskey, maybe I can help you out. So, real quick with Adam Kubert, he does a lot of double page spreads. And I don't sometimes know how to feel. Sometimes I'm like, oh, that's great. But sometimes I'm like, this could have easily been a one pager. I sometimes feel these double page spreads are just shortcuts. And it really just shortens us that pay for these stories. So, I don't know how you guys feel. It's a beautiful double page spread, and he does it really well. But again, and so Hugo says, "This better be worth it, friend." And the gentleman here says, "It's worth more. It's worth every cent and more. Me and my compatriot were tracking a polar bear that was this far south for some damn reason. We found it all torn to pieces. Big fella. He had took a pack of wolves with him, but it wasn't them that did the deed." So, and we saw that last issue. Wounds like nothing I'd ever seen. Like it was a wildcat like if a wildcat was as big as a man. Sorry. We had to ship the body back in ice, but we've got pictures. So, just to let you know, this story seems to take place about 20 years after the other origin story. So, because we're now in the 1900s, and origin took place in the late 1800s. So, anyway, he says, "Maps and directions as best as I can to start your hunt like the rest of them." And Hugo says, "How can I prove this wasn't fake, sir?" And off panel, we got someone says, "Well, consider this." And we see Essex, and if you know who Essex is, he is going to be Mr. Sinister. So, anyway, he says, "Would I have traveled to the lowest pits of God's own earth to silence my erstwhile employee if his flapping tongue wasn't speaking of something he shouldn't?" So, and we got a nice panel here. I like Adam Kubert. I'm a huge fan. And this guy here says, "It was nothing to do with me, Dr. Essex." And Essex says, "I'm sure it wasn't." So, as I mentioned, this is going to be the future Mr. Sinister, the leader of the creator of the Marauders, the whole shebang here. So, I don't know who you two are, but yes, it's time to leave. As he looks at his pocket watch, and Hugo says, "You were something pretty like that out here, Dr. Essex, and one way or another, a man's going to have bad ideas. I'd had anything worth having if I were you." And Essex says, "A man who lays a hand on me is not a gentleman, and mere men are beneath my concern," he says here, as he puts his pocket watch away. "From what I hear, it's not a man you need to be worried about here," she says. Claire, I believe, was her name. And so Hugo says here, "Claire's right. Your money isn't going to get you anything out here except an unmarked grave. You need experienced trackers, handlers, and muscle out here. A fancy gentleman is just going to get himself hurt." And Essex says, "Oh, please, gentleman does not imply gentleness, and a gentleman never travels alone." And so here he's got these two here, and I love the fact that there's no eyelids. I wonder if this is one of Sinister's creations. He is quite the geneticist, as we know. Mr. Sinister's always creating things here. So, all right. And Essex says, I have the backing of one of the great powers of the continent, the finest technology of the age to come, and men of the finest breeding. And um, he uh, he coughs there. Education. And he goes here. And what do you have? So, excuse me. And these two kind of look at each other here. Coming through. So, if you saw the cover, you know who this is here. This would be Sabretooth, who was, if you remember from the first origin, was nicknamed Dog. So, anyway, so Sabretooth says, Clara, Hugo, we best move. And Hugo says, well, Essex, you have your expensive toys and men, and I have Mr. Creed, the best. And Sabretooth says, a tracker, just an everyday working tracker who thinks his fool of a boss should get moving when we've got light and not hang around a saloon shooting off his dumb mouth. And so they leave, and Essex says, now that we have privacy, I do not believe I wanted my business sold to any hunter in the blighted colonial province. This was an experiment, and any of the results should have been mine alone. And he goes, I won't breathe another word of this, Mr. Essex, not a breath. And he says, true. So that's probably not going to turn out very good for him. And suddenly here, you can see him underneath the ice as he drowned him. I suppose it's my fault. I should have been clearer about the penalties for disobedience. Still, at least you understand now, boy. Time is pressing. Let's be off. Where to, he asks. And so this gentleman here says, the body was easy to locate. Only managed to narrow down its main range to a valley, maybe 20 acres. And Essex says, perfect or close to 10. Marauders, let the hunt begin. So, love that. Hints of the future. And so we get another double page spread here. And Essex says, this should do, I think. And he he licks his finger here. Mass, gentlemen. A few breaths would just ruin my considerable investment in each of you. Let's flush it out. And they throw these gas masks, or these gases here. You can see they're filling out the forest here. And SSX, come out. Boils in the lungs will only reduce the value of the dissection. And nothing. Steady. Wait for the gas to clear. And then we advance. And then suddenly from behind, you can see them. You can see them here. Here's Wolverine here. They're getting cut. And so this gentleman here now pulls his pistol. And then we get this great shot of Wolverine here. And done in pencil. Very nicely done. I like the fact that it's sort of half inked, not this image in particular, but this series. A little bit of inking, a little bit of pencils. So, and Wolverine just gashes this dude here with his claws. And of course, Essex goes, hold fire. It's a man. A mutant at last. So, and you can see here the little diamond that Mr. Sinister will have. So, and Essex continues, one must have him. And so Clara's here. The snob is heading away from here, Hugo. And she says, either we've lost the trail or they have. So Hugo says, hey, hear that? Are we heading down a wrong path? And Sabretooth says, stop. We got ourselves a clever critter. And Sabretooth continues, a cave is up ahead. The entrance is hidden. He's in it, gone to the ground. And Hugo says, you sure, Creed? And Sabretooth says, Hugo, you treat Clara and me pretty well considering. But you ever question me about what I do again, and I'll open you up from crotch to neck. So, just as mean as ever. So, here they go. And they've got a net here. I like this sort of silhouette-ish. And Creed making hand signals here. Telling everybody to come closer. Go beat the undergrowth, big guy. And so here comes Wolverine out. Takes care of this gentleman here. And look at him here. Oh, so savage, so wild. And Sabretooth just kind of watches here as he takes down this gentleman here. And this guy's like hell behind him here as Hugo takes out his gun. And of course, here comes Clara. Sabretooth tells her no, but she's like, stop. Just stop, she says here. Easy, you don't need to do this. You don't want to kill anyone, do you? She says. There you go. Because she's treating him like an animal, so he's responding. And Sabretooth's like, damn fool. And she says, it's going to be all right. And suddenly, you can see a rope going through and catching Wolverine. Nice work on calming this sucker, Clara. And she's like, Creed, no, as they grab Wolverine here. Look at Creed. Just punches him here. That's for making eyes at Clara runt as he kicks Wolverine here. And this is for, and Clara's like, Creed, stop. You're even worse than him, she says here. And Sabretooth says, I'm nothing like him. You take it back or I'll. And Clara's like, do what, Creed? What are you going to do to me? She says. So, and finally Hugo's like, Romeo and Juliet, please, and act, break in your tragedy. Let's see what we've come so far from Civilization 4, says Hugo. And Clara says, it's not an animal, it's a man. And Hugo's like, or is it an animal man? So, I always liked that name, Animal Man. This, DC, of course, has a series or a character named Animal Man, but they should put him in more things. I don't know. I like that name. There was a series in the 80s, a TV series. It only lasted a season called Manimal. That was actually, I don't know. That was a pretty cool name as well here. So, anyway, Hugo says, a missing link with claws in his forearms. Some kind of wolvish version of an orangutan, I'd say. And Claire's like, he's a man, Hugo. And Hugo's like, are you a man hiding, my hairy friend? Speak up. Any tongue you wish. Heathen babble would do. And Wolverine just kind of stares. And so Hugo says, see, savage beasts. Oh, they won't believe their eyes. They really won't. And Clara says, you can't go through with this, Hugo. He's not an animal. You can't treat him like one. And Hugo's like, oh, I see it now. Welcome to Hugo the Great's. And so he is actually a circus owner here. So he is going to show everyone here what's in here, which is, of course, Wolverine. And so takes this off, and the people just gasp, looking. The Clawed Man of the Woods, the marvel of the Golden Age. To be continued. So, look at that. Adam Kubert, I like him. I really do. I like his brother, Andy. But, and Andy does have a lot more work that you can overall, Adam just doesn't draw as much or as fast, but I'm a fan, so we'll put this right here. So, Origin 2 from 2014, Kieron Gillen, writer, and Adam Kubert, the artist. Like and subscribe, and I do thank you for listening. Goodbye.